The Yahoo Fantasy Football platform is surprisingly sharp. Today, we're going to break down the strategy for Yahoo. For those of you guys that are playing on this platform, I'm sure you guys have been looking forward to this one. We're going to go through quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, and tight end strategy on the Yahoo Fantasy Football platform. And we're going to tell you guys what is the optimal strategy in each round, what positions you want to be targeting. And as we were going through this, we actually did realize that among Sleeper, Yahoo, ESPN, NFL, and some of the home league ADP sites that we have in our manifesto graded against our own rankings, Yahoo appears to be the most sharp. It appears to be the one that is most in line with consensus, underdog, flock fantasy experts.
Let me explain it in a way the younger audience would know. Yahoo knows ball.
Yahoo does know ball. So, Danny, let's get it kicked off with the running back position and kind of our strategy based around this position. So, as you guys can see, this is our rankings, our FSC rank, compared to the Yahoo X ranking. So, the way that Yahoo does their ADP is not based on their regular ADP that's available on Fantasy Pros. The way it's sorted is when you go into a Yahoo Fantasy mock draft in the mock draft lobbies that they have, which we'll do at the end of this video, it is sorted by their combined expert rankings, which is like Matt Harmon, Scott Pianowski, Justin Boone, some guys that actually know ball. So that's why their X rankings are actually pretty sharp. So as you guys can see, some of the values are highlighted here based on where we value them versus where the Yahoo X ranks value them. In the early rounds, they're pretty appropriately priced. There's nothing that really stands out too much, aside from Genty being a little bit lower in ranking versus where we have him, and Devon Achane, who has since probably slipped because of the injury that he's dealing with. Those are kind of the only early round running backs that really stick out to you. The round 3 to 5 range is where the best running back value exists.
Yeah, exactly. If you're looking at it across the board in that round 3 to 5 range, maybe you like a Kenneth Walker, a Breece Hall, and a Martin Hampton. And Martin Hampton specifically is one that we actually have valued on that 2-3 turn. Goes about the mid-third round if you are on Yahoo. So you have a lot more strategy. If you're picking in the middle of the board, heck, maybe if you're lucky and you're picking at the end of the board, it does impact your strategy knowing that an Amari and Hampton may be sliding to you. On top of that, even a guy like Trevion Henderson, they haven't quite caught up to, I guess, the preseason buzz. I would say that 50.5 overall is about the reasonable rank we expected from Trevion Henderson going into the preseason. And we've kind of seen across the board that he shot up. I wouldn't be shocked if the next time that they publish this ranking, Trevion Henderson is closer to like 36 or 35.
Yeah, and the one thing I've noticed about Yahoo's rankings is of the 3 platforms we've talked about so far, Sleeper, ESPN, and Yahoo, the mid-round does look like it has the running backs pushed up the most on Yahoo. So while I just said that they're sharp at the beginning of this, we do see that like the old dead zone kind of creeps up with like a Tony Pollard type going at pick 54. Like that's really high for a guy like Tony Pollard. David Montgomery going at pick 62, Tyrone Tracy going at pick 67. Basically any running back that projects for volume. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's going at 40, which is like the 3-4 turn. So the running back position, it appears you kind of want to pick your spots carefully, like the way that we used to talk about running backs before, which is, hey, don't overinvest in this position. Don't chase runs. Go after the guys that we have highlighted primarily, as opposed to the guys that are, in red as far as where we have them ranked relative to Yahoo.
Exactly. So to recap, if you are on Yahoo right now, you want to know how to approach the running back position. Again, we'll have the overall optimal strategy for the Yahoo platform after we talk about each position. But specifically for running back in the rounds 1 to 3 portion, our favorite values, Ashton Genty, Devon Achane, Chase Brown, Amari Hampton. In the mid rounds, once you get to that round 4 to 8 range, we do like Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Trevion Henderson, Isaiah Pacheco in that range. And then finally, like if you're in the round 9 portion, you want to add some depth, maybe your RB3, RB4, RB5 to the squad. We do like the values on guys like Joe Mixon, Quinshon Judkins, Shakori Krosky, Merrick Dillon Sampson, Austin Eckler. In fact, I mean, we do have Judkins listed here. If you're concerned about the Judkins legal issues, 169 cost right now is about his average ADP over on Yahoo. At that cost, you can even pair him and Dylan Sampson and sleep like a baby.
Yeah. Running backs in general, it's going to be hard to find sleepers on Yahoo. I would say that like if you build out a bench from rounds 9 to 15 with 3 or 4 running backs on Sleeper or ESPN, you're going to get Tank Bigsby, Dylan Sampson, JCM in the double-digit rounds. Whereas like, dude, Jordan Mason is picked 74 on Yahoo. Like Zach Charbonnet and J.K. Dobbins and Braylon Allen and Tank Bigsby, they're top 100 picks. Like they're going off the board really high. So anybody that has any semblance of sleeper appeal at the running back position, you're probably not going to get them super late in a Yahoo draft. So just keep that in mind that you probably want to be getting your running back anchors like a little earlier on Yahoo than you normally would on ESPN or Sleeper, knowing you can backfill with more upside swings. And 2, the sleeper appeal of your favorite guys is probably not there. Like as much as JCM is a value on Yahoo because he's going at 117, and we have him combined ranked at 98. Well, he was going at like pick 160 on Sleeper and ESPN. So they actually do have him kind of appropriately ranked.
Yeah, there's not as many exploitables, I would say, on the Yahoo platform, which does make it really important, as you guys will see in the optimal strategy portion, of why we like having two guys early on, and then you could backfill in the later rounds.
Yeah, for sure. So talking about the wide receiver position, and on the ESPN and Sleeper platform, it was very clear like what the strategy at wide receiver was, because in like rounds 5 through 8, the receiver value was just absolutely ludicrous. And while it's still pretty good on Yahoo as well, like you can see Marvin Harrison Jr., Devontae Adams, Travis Hunter, all the way down to like Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed types. There's guys that we have ranked a lot higher than consensus. The early rounds at wide receiver is very competitively priced, really outside of Puka Nacua, because Puka Nacua goes off the board at 16th overall on Yahoo, which maybe the Yahoo experts are quite concerned about the Stafford injury. I know that's not Harmon's doing, because I know Harmon loves Puka Nacua, the player.
Yeah, it must be the other experts on the site. I mean, regardless, if you guys are in a Yahoo draft right now, keep your eye on Puka Nacua, because 16 overall, I mean, we have him literally halved in terms of where we have him ranked.
Yeah, and I did a mock draft earlier, kind of preparing for this video, and I drafted Nico Collins at the 8 slot, and Puka Nacua fell to me in the 2nd round. So if you know that, like maybe you plan your strategy in the 1st round around the idea that you might get Puka Nacua in the 2nd round, and if you're near that 1-2 turn area, and you're like, hey, I'm caught between Nico Collins and Christian McCaffrey, or Nico Collins and Ashton Genty or Derrick Henry, or whatever running back that you would like in that area, maybe you do take the running back first, knowing that you might get Puka Nacua in the 2nd round.
Especially if you're at like that pick 10, pick 11, like area of the board. Again, maybe you are high on McCaffrey. I mean, I know you're a little bit lower on McCaffrey comparatively, but if I can guarantee you could start your draft with Christian McCaffrey and Puka Nacua, I think you're taking that combo every single time.
Well, I offered you right now in your mind, just imagine I picked Puka first, because that's like, how I have it ranked.
Like if I offered you in your home league, you're at 9th overall. Hey, you can take Christian McCaffrey in the 1st. You'll be like, that's a little bit early on him. But you got Puka Nacua in the 2nd. Like your eyes are going to be glistening.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, the mid-round wide receivers, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, Travis Hunter, Xavier Worthy, it's not obscene value. Like there was obscene value on Sleeper. Like I think on Sleeper, Travis Hunter was going off the board at like the 70th overall pick or something like that. Like there was insane values that you could get there. Emeka Egbuka is the perfect gauge for how sharp a platform is, because Emeka Egbuka on Underdog consistently goes in the 50s. Like he's consistently a 5th, 6th round pick. On Sleeper, he's at pick like 100. On ESPN, he's at pick like 90, but on Yahoo, he's at pick 73. So you can see it's a lot sharper in terms of those like guys that everybody loves, the Goldens, the Igbukas, the Pearsalls, like those mid-round breakout wide receivers are not going nearly as low on Yahoo.
Yeah, when you move off of the mid-rounds, you get to the late-round wide receivers. We do notice specifically, yes, they're priced more competitively overall, but Yahoo does ding Rice a lot. Now, I wanted to ask you, does Yahoo not have an IR spot on their platform?
I mean, it's probably not the default setting, but I know I've been in, like, my home league used to be on Yahoo for 1 year, and I know for a fact, like, because I won the league that year, that I had someone in the IR spot that season. So you can put an IR spot on Yahoo. Maybe you can't put suspended players there.
That might be
because on Sleeper, there's the option to turn on and off as a commissioner, whether you want suspended players on the IR spot. But it's possible that the experts at Yahoo, Harmon and those guys, are just not, like, I know Harmon was not high on Rice to begin with in terms of like how he is as a player. He's a very specific role and scheme fit and that kind of thing. So it's possible they're just a little bit lower on Rice, the player. And now with the suspension, they've used it as a way to kind of ding him. But 80th overall is pretty insane, because like most platforms, even if you're pessimistic, are like 55, 60 overall.
Well, we'll talk about it. Yeah, you grab your hero. I mean, the overall optimal strategy, will go through it all. But if you grab your hero, you grab a couple, safer wide receivers in that mid-round area, and you could wrap around round 7, get Rashee Rice as your upside shot. You're going to be well equipped to handle that suspension. And if you told me right now that you're getting 10 plus games of Rashee Rice, he should be going about 3 rounds higher than this.
Yeah, especially for those of you guys that are in 2 wide receiver, 1 flex leagues. Like Rashee Rice at pick 80 is a bench player. And there's very few bench players that would have the ceiling, even if you only get 10, 12 games out of them, that Rashee Rice does have for you. So yeah, I think on Yahoo specifically, he's got to be a major target for you. But again, the mid-round wide receivers, there's 8 or 9 names that are really good values, not 15, 20 names like there were on Sleeper and ESPN. So keep that in mind, that you do maybe want to go a little bit heavier on the wide receivers early in your draft as well, just because you're not going to be able to be like, hey, I'm not drafting a single wide receiver. I'm going to get my running backs and my quarterback or something, because I know I can get Devontae Smith in round 6, like you can get him on Sleeper and ESPN.
Yeah, so to recap, if you're in the early rounds, your targets, rounds 1 to 3, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr. do stick out like a sore thumb. You get to the mid rounds, rounds 4 to 8, Devontae Adams, Travis Hunter, Xavier Worthy, Tedero McMillan, Jamison Williams, Roma Dunze, Emeka Buka, Stephon Diggs, Rasheed Rice. It's like, even though there's a lot of names in this range, you even compare it to some of those other videos. And I mean, we're talking about, like Corey said, about 15 plus guys. And then once you get to round 9 plus, we do think the Yahoo platform is discounting a good bit. Josh Downs probably because of the hamstring injury. I'm assuming Jaden Reed because of the walking boot. And maybe they're just rookie pessimistic here with Matthew Golden's ranking.
Yeah. Again, the one thing I do really want to hammer home is that it is way easier to build a better bench, not on Yahoo, because the guys that everyone likes this year, like the Braylon Allens and the Charbonnets and the Jordan Masons, they're priced like pretty competitively the way that they're priced on like Underdog and stuff. So that's definitely something to keep in mind.
Think of it like this. So maybe you're buying from Underdog at retail. Like it's like something that's worth $1, you're paying $1 for. If some of these other platforms, maybe you're getting a discount that they cost 40 cents, Yahoo would kind of be like, oh, like you're getting a value, you're paying 75 cents, knowing inherently it's worth $1, but it's not quite the 40-cent deal you're getting from ESPN and Sleeper.
Yeah, the no-brainer deal that you need to structure your draft strategy around. As far as handling the onesies, it is actually different than Sleeper and ESPN, because on Sleeper and ESPN, if you guys recall in those videos, the top guys were priced relatively appropriately. We have Lamar, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Jalen Hurts priced pretty aggressively because they are huge positional advantages. But if all else failed you could take Dak, you could take Mayfield, you could take Kyler, you could take JJ, you could take Drake May, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, Jared Goff territory. Worst case scenario, if all else failed you could just punt to that range of quarterbacks because they were going like 20, 30 picks after in ADP. But the best values based on Yahoo X rankings versus our rankings are actually those top 4 quarterbacks and even Patrick Mahomes in like the 6th, 7th round.
Yeah, it is wild. We do see, the other videos, you either take one of the top guys or you punt it off completely because the late round guys are devalued a good bit. That doesn't happen on this app. I mean, I love Dak Prescott, but they have him ranked where I do, and I get accused of being a biased Cowboys fan for having him ranked there. 89th overall, it's about as high as you can get on Dak Prescott, and that's exactly where I have him ranked. So the fact of the matter is you have so many quarterbacks going in the top 100, so many quarterbacks going in the top 125 even. You get to the point where you're at pick 130, and you're looking CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence would be the only value we have in our collective rankings at that rank. And yeah, you'll see, Daniel Jones, Cam Ward there listed as values. Realistically, we have them there in our rankings because of if you're doing a best ball draft, you need 2 to 3 quarterbacks drafted. If you're in a 1 quarterback Yahoo league, like you're not drafting Daniel Jones or Cam Ward.
Well, yeah, and as a Buccaneers fan, this is an easy comparison for me to make. Baker Mayfield goes at pick 63 on ESPN. He goes at pick 91 here. So it's actually very stomachable to be able to draft an 8th round Baker Mayfield as opposed to a 5th round Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, realistically, across the board here, those mid to late round guys are priced so appropriately. So with that in mind, if you're in a 2 wide receiver, 2 flex league, your biggest early round targets, quite simply, I mean, all top 4 of the quarterbacks are priced very well. And unless you're in a deep starting lineup where those flexes really do matter, I'm perfectly comfortable taking whichever of them. If you want to do Allen, Daniels, Lamar in the 3rd round, or you want to do Jalen Hurts in the 4th round, like there's a lot of value to be had there because of what we mentioned at wide receiver, running back later on.
Well, yeah, not to mention knowing that Rasheed Rice is pick 80. If you pick near the turn, Patrick Mahomes goes at pick 76. You could double tap Mahomes and Rice.
Oh, that'll get you feeling nicey.
Yeah, especially when it's like the 6-7 turn. And all the 6-7 fucking Gen Zers are going to go nuts in the comment section. But yeah, the moral of the strategy at quarterback is that you don't have the cushy fallback plan of taking Drake May, Caleb Williams, and all those guys late in your drafts because they are priced competitively. And I'm not avoiding the mid-round quarterbacks like the plague because instead of taking them in round 5, round 6, you can get them in round 7, round 8. And yeah, Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix, those guys actually do project a little bit better than Jordan Love and guys that were going later. And it's not a seismic gap like it was on ESPN and Sleeper.
Yeah, exactly. The moral of the story, if you are targeting quarterbacks on Yahoo, I already mentioned top 4 quarterbacks are priced extremely well. Once you get to the mid-rounders, I would say the guys that stand out on our rankings compared to the Yahoo platform, Kyler and Jordan Love are the main guys there. And then in round 9 plus, if you're going to wait on any quarterback, the only guy that we actually have as a significant value would be Trevor Lawrence, especially if you have like Travis Hunter or BTJ.
Yeah, the fact that they have a rushing quarterback like Justin Fields priced at pick 101 is like, I don't really love Justin Fields this year, but the fact that they're
I
just like,
get it.
he rushes the football and
Yeah.
he's been like a QB1 anytime he's been starting, I think that shows a lot about how sharp the platform is, which is crazy to say about Yahoo, because I used to think it was a pretty casual platform before. So the tight end ranks here and how we would address the tight end position is actually quite similar to quarterback, where relatively, other than the rookies, because you can see they stick out like a sore thumb. We have them ranked aggressively. Loveland and Warren are always our fallback options.
Spoiler, any optimal strategy from FSE on these platforms is going to come with one of those rookie tight ends because of how we have them valued.
Exactly. But different from ESPN and Sleeper, Sam Laporta was picked 55 on Sleeper. He's picked 68 on Yahoo. That's reasonable. That's at a range where I would actually draft Sam Laporta.
We have him ranked around there. Yeah. You have him, what, 67? I have him at 68, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Like, we don't have to really figure out too much about the mid-round tight ends when they're actually sliding to you at a value, because it's so easy for us to just go, I'm never drafting Sam Laporta in round 5 where he goes on Sleeper because I can take Colson Loveland and Tyler Warren in round 9. But when Laporta goes in round 7 and you have to take Colson Loveland, Tyler Warren in round 9, then it's like a closer conversation. You know what I mean? It's maybe you still prefer the rookies, which we obviously would based on our rankings, but at least it's a conversation now. It's not like a no-brainer to take the rookies.
Yeah, it's actually a conversation. Then you actually have to think round 7 Laporta plus round 8 or 9 wide receiver versus round 7 wide receiver versus round 8 or 9 Colson Loveland, Tyler Warren. And yeah, I get it. Like 113, 130 overall expert Yahoo rankings. Like you would think, okay, well, you don't actually have to take them in round 8 or 9. Again, it's going to come back to what I said about Trevion Henderson. I really do feel like once people clock in just how much of a value these rookies are, we're going to start to see them creeping up in the top 100 across the board.
Yeah, and another thing I'd like to point out is on most platforms, Bauer's a mid-second round pick, McBride's a mid-third round pick, and Kittle's like a fourth round pick. They're literally ranked back to back on Yahoo, which is how I view them this year. That's basically, like, I have them ranked McBride 24, Bowers 25, and Kittle 29 or 30 or something like that. That's how I view them. So again, the fact that you can
get a little bit more of a gap for me.
I would say Bauer specifically, the most likely platform I would draft him on is Yahoo, because I don't want to draft him at pick 16 or whatever he goes on some platforms.
Well, that's how it is, right? Like realistically, if you're picking at 1 overall, no other platform will you have a chance to pair up Jamar Chase and Brock Bowers, except for Yahoo.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely be wary of those early round tight ends. I'm a little bit more likely to go after them, especially given that Yahoo's default scoring is actually only 1 flex and half PPR. We didn't actually mention that at the top. Their default scoring is half PPR, not full PPR. Okay. And also their default scoring has 1 flex in it, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs. So if you're playing Yahoo default scoring and it's half PPR, those early round quarterbacks are going to be so valuable in a half PPR, 1 flex league. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Hurts types got to be huge priorities for you. So if we're going through round by round optimal strategy, and we'll showcase this in the mock draft as well, round 1, hero wide receiver makes so much sense given the round 2 through 4 running back value, as we talked about, especially if you're at the end of the board, you can wrap back around with a running back like a Devon Achane who's sliding on this platform. Yeah. Early in the board too, you can wrap back around, double tap running back, take Bucky Irving and Chase Brown, take Jonathan Taylor and Amari Hampton, whatever you want to do there. Round 2 and 3, like I just said, double hero RB makes sense. Elite quarterback makes sense if you can get one in the 3rd round. Elite tight end makes sense if you can get one maybe in the early 3rd round as well. And then at round 4, you probably want to make sure you have at least 2 running backs on your roster, and maybe you get an anchor quarterback like Jalen Hurts falling.
Realistically, like you said, if you can leave your first 4 rounds, you get your hero at wide receiver, you get 2 anchors at your running back position, and then you can get one of those elite onesies knowing it's only a 1 flex start or a type of platform, then you're set, because realistically, you don't want to be drafting running backs in that round 5 to 8 range. You don't want to be having to catch up at the onesies in such a shallow starting lineup. As long as you lock down 1 elite onesie, maybe it's specifically for us, I would say at quarterback, because of how much we love Loveland and Warren at cost. If you can get a Jaden Daniels, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, or if you ended up waiting to the 4th round and you got like a Jalen Hurts because you pick at the 111, let's just say, you could walk out of your first 4 rounds with, let's just say it's Brian Thomas Jr., Ashton Genty, Omarion Hampton, and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, no, and I will say, of all the platforms, I am more likely to go for the early round tight end on Yahoo, specifically McBride and Bowers, because they're priced pretty competitively on here. Whereas Kittle, actually, I would definitely not take at his price on Yahoo because he's available on Sleeper and ESPN at the 3-4 turn.
Yeah, and let's just say that that's the optimal 4 start that you have. Once you get to rounds 5 to 7, keep hammering those wide receivers. Rounds 8 to 10, you're looking at some of those rookie tight ends we mentioned, some more wide receiver depth. And then realistically, once you get to round 10 plus, take as many upside shots filling out your running back depth as you can. You have your two main guys that are going to be your starters. You don't have to worry about that from a week to week setting. So at that point, fill your bench with ambiguous backfields, rookie handcuffs, guys that you can see if they were to make your lineup actually outproducing the guys that you picked early. For example, a guy like Byshal Tootin, I think, is perfect for this type of build where let's just say you have your two main anchor running backs and Byshal Tootin is like your RB4 or 5 on your bench. If Byshal Tootin is ranked in our rankings, is a lineup player in our rankings, it'll probably mean because he's absolutely crushing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And the other thing I would add caveat-wise to Yahoo versus the other platforms is you really want to be avoiding running backs in rounds 5 to 7 based on how they're priced. Pacheco's the only guy that we have priced basically where he's going. And then rounds 8 to 10, I'm actually more likely to take a round 8 quarterback on this platform because like we said, maybe it's a Bo Nix that slides to you. Maybe it's a Baker Mayfield that slides to you as opposed to in round 8, who you'd be taking on sleeper is probably not those guys. You'd probably be having to reach on like a Prescott or a Purdy or a Love or something like that. So yeah, definitely an interesting platform for sure. If you guys are playing on Yahoo, it is definitely more competitively priced than a lot of these other ones. And you guys can see basically all of our top like 50 or so ranked players who are the biggest values. And you can see that the running backs in the mid rounds, the rounds 2 to 4 range are the ones that stick out the most. Whereas the rest of the positions, it is the quarterbacks that pop up. It is some of those mid-round wide receivers as well. So we're going to pivot over to a Yahoo mock draft. We're going to do it in the mock draft lobby. So I can't promise that there's not going to be people taking 6-round kickers or whatever, but we'll have to wait and see because this is the best place you can really draft against this ADP because there is no other place to do it. If you try and do it on Fantasy Pros Draft Wizard, you're not drafting off of the expert rankings anymore.
Yeah, 100%. But with that being said, let's waste no more time. We can talk about strategy or we can show you it.
All right, so we're now into the draft. We just did a random thing here. So we're going with the number 2 hole. Do we want to try and see how we can land the plane with a running back, or do we want to stick to what we said in the actual strategy portion?
I don't see a Bijan jersey behind me.
Okay.
Like
your call. We do think it's probably optimal to go hero wide receiver in the first round. So even though I am adamantly against this pick by my own rankings, I would much rather take Bijan or Gibbs. I do want to showcase what it looks like when you go with the early round wide receiver, because I do think that is the optimal way to play it on this platform for sure.
I think anytime you can get CeeDee Lamb, it's the optimal play.
All right, so we're back on the board, and I may have misspoke a little bit when I said this platform is sharp because the people drafting on it are not, but the expert rankings themselves are sharp. I mean, A.J. Brown is just simply a player I cannot pass at this point.
Yeah.
So we just got to take him.
You can take A.J. Brown, and then ideally, if we can get Lamar Jackson on the wrap, we'd be pretty set.
Yeah, and again, just because the platform itself has decently sharp rankings doesn't mean the players that you're drafting against will be sharp. So
let's see running back.
Do we want to take Hampton here?
I think we go Hampton, knowing full and well that we like the tight end values of the rookies, and we need wide receivers in those mid round or in the next round, most likely. Or sorry, we need 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds. Sorry, I cannot speak. My bad.
There you go. Yeah, let's go with Damarian Hampton here. I think, I wasn't expecting A.J. Brown to fall to us. I thought we would get one of these other running backs, the Bucky, the JT, the Devon Achane territory, the Chase Brown territory, but they kind of got wiped off the board. And obviously, if you guys know your league and you think that's probably possible, then maybe you would have gone with Bijan or something in the first round. Yeah. Knowing that we would have had A.J. Brown fall back to us, I definitely would have taken Bijan in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough to know. Like, realistically, if we had known, obviously AJ had fallen. I think it was more likely that Ladd and AJ would have been gone by our pick based off where the rankings were.
Yeah, if we weren't drafting with complete glue sniffers, we would have been fine.
That's another term. Sand eaters, glue sniffers. Like these guys were dropped on the wrong side of their head.
All right, so we're back on the clock, and this is why we would rather draft on Flock than on Yahoo, because people are all leaving the draft after 2 rounds, and think we'll probably only go like 10 rounds on this thing because I don't feel like sitting
maybe
here
8
all day. But we do get a running back fall back to us in Breece Hall, which I feel like we got a draft knowing that we have AJ Brown, Lamb, and Hampton already. We can secure a guy who still has a very high ceiling, obviously a little bit on the riskier side, so he falls back to us at the 411. But the receiving upside and everything is still there, and RB1 in their prime is the category of player we want to go after. Devontae Smith would be my pick here, but we do have AJ Brown already. And
we also have
as well.
Worthy.
So you want to go with Worthy here at this point in time? I mean, the quarterback position's not really intriguing me at all. I don't think Mahomes is there. Tight end wise, we're not looking at anything there. So yeah, let's roll with a wide receiver. And Xavier Worthy or Travis Hunter would probably make the most sense, but we can roll with Worthy here.
For sure. And again, ideally we would have had like a guy like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. They just Let's say went earlier than expected.
So we're about to be back on the clock here. We do have our 2 receivers in our receiver spots. We have 2 running backs in our running back spot. We also have a flex in Xavier Worthy. We could look quickly at the quarterback and tight end position. I mean, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, a little bit early for those guys. Laporta, I'd be open to if you wanted to grab Laporta at this point.
Yeah, I'd be open to Laporta, especially knowing it's a 1 flex league. We want to still have an advantage there, and this is a very reasonable value. We actually both have him ranked higher than this.
Yeah, let's roll with Laporta because we also this guy behind us doesn't have a tight end yet, so I don't want to risk him taking the tight end first. And between Flowers and Hawkinson went, so it's probably a good call that we took him.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of cut you off, but I mean that was good ball knowledge there.
Yeah,
hear me out. 1 flex league. I know we have Worthy, but Rashid Rice is calling to me like the Green Goblin max.
Yeah, I mean, did Igbuka go?
Yeah, he just went right before us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm cool. You know what? I'm cool going with Rashid Rice off the bench. Again, we're gonna benefit from Rashid Rice being out with Worthy whenever he's out, and we'll just flex whoever the better option is. There again, maybe you don't want to do that, but when you're getting Rice at that good of a value, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, like for example, in the Flock League, he went at the 5-6 turn, I believe. And we got him at the 6-7
I think he went at the 4-5 turn, didn't he? Rice, or was it the 5-6?
It was one of those two because I know
it was 5-6. You're right because he was picking 112.
Whereas here we got him at the 6-7.
Yeah, no, I feel really good about that. And yeah, we've basically got our flex and our wide receiver spots already figured out. We definitely probably should look back at the running back position at some point. Like looking back at running back, we don't really have any great options there. Like you see even like Warren, Allen, Bigsby types. Like, but like you think about it, we're going to be picking at the 8. 11 or whatever, and that feels a little early for everyone other than Warren there.
I would agree with that.
Krosky Merritt, I think, would be fine at that point as well, but for the most part, I think we're hoping that maybe we can get our quarterback with our next pick.
Yeah, because the odds of this room letting the best running back listed on the board make it another, 14 picks, 15 picks, probably next to none.
Back on the clock here, and again, we're just going to do this turn, and then we're going to close off this mock draft. Pretty easy. We have Dak Prescott on the
guy at the 12 has Lamar though, so we could wait the turn.
We could wait the turn. Yeah, let's do that. Do we want to go with ETN? We could use some running back depth here. We could take Travis.
Yeah.
Going behind Breece Hall and Amari Hampton. Travis maybe an early season starter in case Hampton gets out to a slow start. We're hearing that Najee maybe could be ready in time for week 1. So we'll see what happens there. We get ETN on the turn. Hopefully this guy does not take a backup Dak Prescott. Otherwise,
double taps.
I mean, we could pivot to Kyler or something else with our last pick of the mock here, but regardless, I think we should be in pretty decent shape with ETN, Breece Hall, and Amari Hampton. I would feel very comfortable with that running back core going into the start of the season.
Yeah, no, I think we did a very good job. We have a lot of upside as well for a 1 flex setup. Yeah, sorry for the hiccup.
Yeah, let me go to our team here. You can see Lamb, AJ Brown, Hampton, Breece Hall, Sam Laporta. I thought we got at a good value at the 6-7 turn there. And then Worthy and Rice going to work into our flexes. And then ETN kind of the first running back off the bench in case we need him. Again, hopefully Dak Prescott does indeed fall to us. This guy went with Jennings with his first pick. And hopefully he does not auto pick a backup quarterback because that would suck.
If he auto picks a backup quarterback, I might lose full.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Do it, Sean. Don't auto pick a backup.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Kyler, take the Russian quarterback.
It's so funny that I'm like, yeah, we could push the turn. It'll be fine. And then this absolute sandlicker fucking auto picking at the 1 spot just takes his backup quarterback.
Yeah. Again, I think taking Kyler, I might have punted quarterback again if this was a real draft, but given that we were trying to,
give you guys a
showcase what it looks like to build out a full team in 9 rounds here, we're kind of just doing that for that reason. But that's the team there. You guys can see it. Kyler Murray, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Amari Hampton, Breece Hall, Sam Laporta, Xavier Worthy, Rashid Rice, and Travis Etienne. And then for the rest of the draft, because we drafted an early quarterback and an early tight end, we would just fill out our bench with wide receiver and running back upside handcuffs, Trey Benson types, Byshell Tootin types maybe to go along with our ETN, try and lock down that backfield. The wide receiver position, we throw darts on Luther Burden and Kyle Williams and guys like that. But that is going to be the end of the mock draft, and we can pivot out to the end of this video as well. Really appreciate you guys sticking around to the end and kind of sticking through us with the Yahoo mock draft simulator. But that's the only option. If you guys are on Yahoo Fantasy, of course, you should do practice drafts on Best Ball with Underdog Fantasy. You can see the code on the screen right now. Get a lot of, experienced drafts under your belt, and you should be doing mock drafts over on Flock Fantasy against our expert rankings. But you do probably need to do some drafts on Yahoo too. because then you get to experience, learn the ADP, understand where players are going on this platform, especially if you know your draft position. You can definitely kind of work the board in that area of the draft there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave a like down below if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let us know how we did. If you want access to the FSC rankings versus home league stuff in the draft, especially if you are drafting on multiple platforms, you got one league on Yahoo, you got one league on ESPN, one league on Sleeper, that type of thing, that will be very helpful for you. And you can get that using our season pass over on flockfantasy.com. You sign up using the promo code FSE, you get it for $34, and you get site access from August all the way to January to cover you for in-season rankings, start sits, trade calculator stuff during the season. You also get some start sit vouchers during the season as well. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested. It'll be linked down below in the pinned comment. But with that being said, peace out, and we'll talk to you soon.